Hey guys, Shadarek here with a very brief video on the changes for Havoc Demon Hunter in the last beta patch that came out. I'm talking about the one that would have come out on November 18th, and Havoc wasn't in the notes at all, but there was things that just weren't in the notes. So there was actually some stuff, and it's kind of important. So, well, one of them's pretty cool, and I'm a fan of it. Some of it's important. So, just gonna pull it up on screen here, but thank you to Topple for posting this in the DH Discord. Some of this obviously isn't going to matter, but Demon Souls, and this would not be in reference to the buff from our tier piece last expansion. This would be the regular Demon Soul. Exergy, Inertia, and Void Meta now buff Fury of the Eldrachi. I don't know why Void Meta is on this list, but this is probably just a default of actually setting it up for the base class. So, kind of whatever on that one. But Exergy and Inertia previously have never buffed Fury of the Eldrachi. It's a pretty big component of why we played low mover builds with just Initiative for all of Dragonflight. At the very least, the tiers where we played Eldrachi Reaver. And there is a very good likelihood that that will change going into Midnight, because not only is it the case that now Inertia buffs Fury of the Eldrachi, our biggest burst window, and our tier set that actually made it very strong did become talents for Eldrachi Reaver, but it's also the case that we now have a 1 minute hunt. And that means just every minute that we're going to be getting that inertia buff back, and we can specifically tie that inertia buff very easily to the double damage eye beam as well, which is brought from Eternal Hunt. So, just a good change. I don't know how it took this long for this to happen, but yeah, whatever. The Havoc 2-piece now buffs Death Sweep. I believe previously it was only working on Literal Blade Dance, so Death Sweep did get added to the new 2-piece, so it correctly works. And the Havoc Spec Aura now works on Fury of the Eldrachi. Previously, it just didn't get our Spec Aura buff. Currently, I believe that for Fury of the Eldrachi, that is 19% that it got buffed. Keep in mind that that aura buff that should all get wiped out if they follow previous expansions. There's a chance that it won't follow previous expansions, that things have been a little bit loosey-goosey lately, it feels like. But while it's a buff on Fury of the Eldrachi for now, not necessarily permanently, but yeah, it's now on the Spec Aura, so if we ever get an aura buff, it'll actually affect Fury of the Eldrachi, unlike the current tier where it did not. Also, the Reaver's Glaive double dip is gone, which is where Reaver's Glaive was getting Thrill of the Fight twice. Now it only gets it once for 15% damage. Again, just good. It should never have been getting a 32% buff. Not really going to speak to buffs or nerfs on this. Eldrachi Reaver's still not really playable for now on beta, because Broken Spirit still is not implemented. And until that's implemented, you don't really have the Soul Generation. I think it'll be really good. But I'm just holding off on playing it, and for now I've been sticking to playing Felsguard, which has been quite a bit of fun, and just trying stuff out with that. Okay, that said, there was one more thing that wasn't listed in here, and that is the Eternal Hunt Eye Beam, where when you hunt, your next Eye Beam does 100% increased damage and has a little bit of a wider area. It now has its own animation. It's not much different from the regular Eye Beam animation, but it is different. So, a little bit of a scenery change here, but I wanted to be somewhere where it was a little bit clear what Eye Beam looks like. Just gonna hit the dummy here with it, and again, it's just after my hunt, my next one's gonna do double damage and affect wider area. Looking at it top down, you can see nice thin yellow line. Pressing hunt, meta, and then eye beaming with the double damage. It's a lot larger, and it's got a big green animation. I will note, this does not currently work for Abyssal Gaze for some reason. When I was going to make this video, I had to confusingly make it multiple times, because for Felsguard, it did not have that animation. I did go through the combat log and double check. It is correctly getting the double damage amp, but the animation only works on regular Eye Beam for now. So, you know, tap Blizzard, maybe get that fixed. I'm sure it'll be fixed soon enough. Surely. Now, that really is about everything. I'm gonna have more videos about beta content coming out. I've actually done multiple dungeons now, which I did on livestream. Having fun with both Havoc and Devour, despite the issues. They're was a retuning that they did to Devour that was, at least in terms of single target performance, wildly out of line and confusing. That kind of ruined their rotation. But outside of pure single target, it works just fine. In dungeons, it honestly feels like it flows very well. So I think the 25% nerfs they hit to most of the abilities makes sense, just because it seemed to be doing comparable damage to Havoc when I was playing Havoc. Thank you for watching. I'd appreciate it if you follow my channel if you want to stay up to date with Havoc and Devourer, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.